Hello and welcome to Mr. Ridley's Design and Technology, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at another 2-point perspective drawing, and we're going to do these block letters. So you can see here I've done A, B, C, D, and these letters are drawn, as I say, in 2-point perspective. So along here we have our horizon line, we have two vanishing points, hence the 2 points of 2-point perspective, and we're going to try and draw these block letters. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a ruler, and for this lesson I'm going to be using a pencil, a rubber and a ruler. I may also use Fineliners just to bring out some of the detail that shows up better. So here I'm going to draw a horizon line, and I'm going to add a vanishing point 1, VP1 there, and VP2 there, and this is our horizon line. And for our lettering now, we're going to start off, and if we look at the height of the lettering, I think it's about 60 millimeters, and we want to come down here somewhere and draw a vertical line. So in this position here, underneath perhaps where it says point there, and draw ourselves a vertical line. I might use that shows up better. A vertical line there. So we've got our vertical line, and we need to mark 2 points on the top of it, and from those 2 points we're going to go from VP2, and what I'm doing here is putting my pencil on VP2, bringing it round so it touches that point and lining up with there, making sure when I move it that it stays on there, and then taking it up to there. On this side I'm going to come across here, keeping it on the top on VP1 and taking this line across to VP1. Then there. What we also need to do is work out the depth of our letters, so I'm going to put the ruler here onto this vertical line and take our vertical line back and create another vertical line down here. From this point here, the top of the vertical line, we need to come back to VP1. Then we need to decide the size of our letters. Now, as we have perspective, a line of perspective moving off into this distance, the spacing of our letters is going to decrease as it moves further away, because the height of the letters is going to decrease, so we really want the width of the letters to decrease proportionally. Now we could work that out, but I find the best way to do it is just, if we take a mark off there, vertical line, and then just move along. Now I'm going to just do ABC or ABCD, but you could, so I'm going to create A, B, C and D, but you could quite easily just write your name. So now we have these rectangles here, I can add in my lettering. So I'm just going to sketch out here, and you can see I'm drawing these quite lightly with a pencil, so that if I make a mistake I can get rid of it. Letter B. Letter C. As always, when you're using these rectangles to draw the letters, it's really important that you use the whole of the rectangle so that the letter touches the sides of the rectangle. Otherwise there's little point in drawing the letter with a rectangle if you're not going to use that rectangle. So here you can see I've got A, B, C, D, and that isn't just coming up too clearly, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Fineliner here. I've got and I think that's going to show up better. So what we've done here is create the front face of these letters. So I've created now the front face here of these letters. Now what we need to do is add this three-dimensional effect. So we've got our line here showing we've already selected our depth of letters, and what we're going to do is take a pencil and from each point, so we're going to take a point there and go back, going to take a point there and go back. We've got this point here already. This point, don't forget the kind of internal points, and also can you see there that I kind of wandered off that, so the internal points of the letters as well. So then I'm going to come to the B and we've got a point there. So if I go from there to there, and I'll just rotate this around so you can see. So I'm going to take a point here of a curve where the curve would disappear, we'd lose our vision. And go back. We've also got this point here. And back. Then the same thing at the top of the C here, so this point where the letter would curve away and up, and these points here, again all the time checking that we're not, and that little point there, and then the top point on our D, and I think we've got it. So here now we can use the rubber to clear away some of these. Now I've drawn these a little bit, I would almost say if you're drawing them, to draw them as lightly as you can, because the easier it makes to get rid of some of this stuff, the better. Now the last thing we've got to do, so we've got we now have our letters here, so we've got our letters, we've got these lines going back, but what we need to add is these curves here. Now these curves here are just replicating the curves at the front of the letter. So where we've got a curve here from this point down to here, we need to, if you like, move that back and just do that same letter here. So we've got points here, so we just need to add these points, copy these lines back to here, copy this line for the A, this is probably the most challenging one, back to there, and then round, and the B and the C, all the time taking from the point where this line crosses this line. There's our C and there's our D, and you would also see just a part of that letter D there. So I'm going to just take my Fineliner now, and I'm just going to do a couple of the letters in full outline so that you can see where we're going with this. I'm just going round. Not forgetting that tiny bit there and there. So there's my A, B, C, and they're drawn. Then it's just a matter of cleaning everything up and taking out there, and you can see that there's a bit hard work there taking those out. Taking all those out, and once you've cleaned them up, I just used a couple of coloured pencils. So I picked just a couple of coloured pencils and just add those, but you could add any colour scheme to those, but I've just done each letter in a different colour. So there's 2-point perspective, block letters. Thank you for watching Mr. Ridley's Design and Technology.